And then I got to ask you, I was hinting at it on this show. You never can get away with it when it comes to sports.
Okay.
So Philadelphia being the hotbed that it is, did you grow up a sports fan at all? I know you're a Billy Joel fan, music fan, but were you a sports fan? And what was your sport of choice in
You
Philadelphia?
couldn't avoid it. Well, first of all, my father was a sports nut. He watched sports every single time he watched television. I mean, he did watch other things, but he loved, even he'd watch golf, he'd watch football. But when I was growing up in South Philadelphia, it's a large part of the city. Um, Hockey was huge. It was becoming huge. And the boys on my street played. We had a bus going up and down the street. I grew up in the city, and they had one of the dads made a hockey net, and they had roller skates, and they'd skate that thing off the street 16 times during a game, 20 times because there was traffic. So hockey was huge. The Flyers were huge because they won the Stanley Cup when I was little. I mean, I was a baby. No, I'm kidding, but
A couple years ago.
I was young. And when you think about it then, and I hate to say this because it dates me, but, it was the TVs were not what they are today, and think about my father had all girls. So all the boys would come into our house to watch the game, and everybody was into the game. But I'm more of a football fan these days. I enjoy hockey. I know you're a baseball guy too, but I don't get involved in baseball. I don't mind going to a game, but I don't follow it. There's just too many games. Like I can manage football the season. And so I love football. I love the Eagles. And this particular year, I really I watched almost every Eagles game. I missed a couple just because of life, but I also was watching every Chiefs game. And I kept saying, I don't want these two to meet. So I love Andy Reid because he came from the Eagles. I love Mahomes because he's a super talent and it's just like fun to watch. I love Travis Kelsey, and I mean, I also love Jason Kelsey, and we have. So this matchup is going to be like incredible. Hurts and Mahomes, Kelsey and Kelsey. Even if you want to say Sanders and what's that guy's name, Pachinko from and then the Sirianni and Reed. It's just going to be such a. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous
It
about the Super
wasn't
Bowl.
supposed to go down this way. I'm sorry to break this to you, but I had it very clearly predicted that the 49ers were going to win the Super Bowl. Now, before we had that prediction, we also said on one of our shows that Tom Brady is going to be signing with the 49ers, which people told us were absolutely mad.
I saw
Well,
that on your podcast.
I don't think we're that crazy anymore because uh, Brock Purdy stays healthy and where 49ers are at, I don't think you guys win that game. I'm sorry to break that to you because Jalen, I don't think looked that amazing, but you see the score 31-7. Yeah, but they're
They
on
didn't
the
have a
fifth,
quarterback
but they didn't have
or
a quarterback.
two.
It's kind of hard when you don't have a quarterback,
Yeah,
and that's really where they were at. I mean, imagine four quarterbacks down. What are the odds?
right.
And I haven't seen the MRI results yet. I'm Googling finding out what's going on with Brock Purdy, but if he needs Tommy John surgery and he's out for any time period, even if he's not, I think Tom Brady, this is the best situation for him possible. He should be heading straight to San Francisco. It's the best team, best setup, best system. All the players are coming back pretty much. And Tom Brady on that team, it's just logical in every possible sense. But this is the way it goes. Same way when the Raptors won the NBA championship and they're saying, well, the Golden State Warriors had so many injured players. Well, that's the way it goes. That's sports, folks. So now that being said, we are where we are. I thought the Bengals were going to end up winning as well. They did not because Mahomes was down, but Mahomes somehow got himself
Yeah, with a
all
bad
the credit,
ankle and
all the credit in the world, obviously.
right.
So, and the Andy Reid, connection. Uh, I can't see how Mahomes isn't winning this one. I'm sorry.
I don't know,
It's
but like you said,
tough.
any given Sunday, anybody could get injured. I mean, look at the last time the Eagles were at the Super Bowl. Wentz was down, and Foles with the Philly special, against Tom Brady. So anything can happen any given Sunday. You don't know.
So your prediction for the Super Bowl is
Well, I have to go with the Eagles. I have to go with the Eagles because I think, I mean, listen, 2 weeks is a long time for Mahomes' ankle injury
yep.
to heal. And that's more time for somebody who is like in a zone like Jalen Hurts to just, whatever trances he puts himself in, puts himself in to work on. So I have to go green. I mean, I can't be a traitor as much as I like my second favorite team are the Chiefs and made the best team win.
Well, I'm not gonna argue there. I'm gonna say it is gonna be interesting. And with Super Bowls, you never know. Anything can
Mm-hmm.
go. I mean, I don't know if you heard of this thing called the Pro Bowl, but apparently that's become a complete joke. So now Baltimore's quarterback with through 2 touchdown passes is going to the Pro Bowl. So yeah, we won't even go there. I will give you a piece of good news though, because even though you do not follow baseball much, is that your Phillies did almost win the World Series last year.
Right.
They are my pick this year to win it all.
Oh,
I
wow.
I can only see this happening. The
Right.
lineup is too good. Bryce Harper will be back by around the All Star game or so. It's going to be a good year to be a
Yeah.
Philadelphia fan. So the 76ers also, Joel Embiid, it's a little scary over there. You never know in the NBA as well. But and your Flyers, it's it's still going to take a little while.
Yeah.
But you got
It,
two strong teams in the Phillies
yeah.
and the Eagles, and it's a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan. What
Yeah, it is. And I hope that the fans make us proud because it was always disappointing to me because the stories that make the news are about the horrible fans, and there's so many more civil people, but that is the reputation we have going back to like somebody throwing a battery at Santa Claus or, whatever that story was.
Santa was probably asking for it.
Broad Street
Yeah.
bullies and
When you walk around the streets of Philadelphia, like I can tell you, I've been in New York enough times. You walk around New York, I don't care where you are in New York, it's always Yankees pinstripes. You don't know that there is such a team called the Mets.
yes,
You don't see the Jets very much. You walk around the streets of Philadelphia this time of year. What jerseys are you seeing on people?
Eagles. Everybody I look at, it's got something Eagles on, something green.
I love it. I love it. And then me, it's all Philadelphia. So you're gonna have to explain, to a novice here, South Philadelphia to North Philadelphia. What's the difference?
So Center City, Philadelphia, the downtown area, right? You directionally, we're talking from there. That's the center of town. South Philadelphia is a large community of row homes that and had big immigrant populations, Italian Americans being an enormous one down there, especially when I was growing up. And it has a culture also or a subculture. Uh, the foods, the personalities. I have to say, I mean, maybe Brooklyn, maybe there's some towns in Europe, Italy for sure. But the familiarity that exists in South Philadelphia is unlike anything I ever experienced anywhere else. I grew up with extended relatives, so my first cousins were like the equivalent of siblings. My second cousins were like first cousins. My third cousins were my neighbors were like relatives. Everybody knew everybody. And there's not a place I go in this world. I could be in another country. And they say that Philadelphians are within 6 degrees of each other. And by the way, Kevin Bacon is from the area. And he has this great little cute song out now that it's a Philly thing. Anyway, I say we're 1 degree of each other, and I've proven it over and over again in my life. I have so many stories. If you had another hour, I would tell you a story about being in Mexico that's in my book and not speaking the language and connect a connection to Philadelphia many, many years ago. But everywhere I go, within seconds, I could like or minutes, we have this bond. So South Philadelphia is a neighborhood in Philadelphia. It's a big, large neighborhood. It's changed over the years and in some ways for the better. Like the neighborhood I grew up in is now like almost like a mini Greenwich Village. And so there's like lots of cool restaurants and different shops and unique stores there. So it's kind of fun to go back. And I only live 20 minutes outside of the city, so I'm there pretty frequently. And but notoriously, South Philadelphia is known for food. Rocky, when they were making those Rocky movies, and again, I'm going to date myself. When they were making the Rocky movies, word would spread. They'd say they're filming Rocky. Kids would just go running and running. And there's one scene in Rocky One where all the kids he's running down what's called the Italian market, which now is multicultural. But he's running down the Italian market, and all the kids are running. That was like not scripted. The kids were running, and it kept it in the movie. And I knew people in that movie as well, real people that are in the movie from Philadelphia, and a lot of the Rocky movies. In fact, my nephew's in one of them.
My favorite movie of all time, my favorite movie series of all time.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to like Creed. I called it a Rocky ripoff, and then I was flying to LA, and I had nothing to do for that long of flight, so I watched both Creed movies at the time. I actually cried during Creed 2, and I got so inspired. I was boxing at the time, so I didn't bring my gloves. I bought gloves when I was there, and I went to do some sparring because I got so pumped up from Creed. So Creed 3 is coming in theaters in March 2023. How is the feeling in Philadelphia about Rocky versus the Creed movies? Is there a buzz at all?
I haven't heard too much of it except for people liked Creed. I only saw the first Creed and I liked it. I like you thought that it was going to be a departure and that it was just too much already with the series, but I actually really enjoyed it. And I was always surprised. There was like I think it was Rocky one, Rocky three, and then maybe one of the later ones. Maybe it was Creed that I think, oh, you know what? It's still got some life to it. I really enjoyed it. So I don't really hear too much of a buzz. It becomes a cliche when you live in the area, just like cheesesteaks, and things like any city that you go to, it's kind of a cliche here when you lived it.
If I moved to Philadelphia, first thing I would do is I would be wearing a Rocky T-shirt everywhere, and I'd be eating cheesesteaks.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I would give you the best places to go, not necessarily the most famous.
There you go. You got to know the hidden places. And
Right.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but the one thing with Creed 3, I was really excited. I figured they did in the first two movies, they brought back the lineage of the opponent. So I figured Mr. T has to be in it, and it's gonna be Mr.
Right.
T's son. Because growing up as a kid, my goal in life was to be Mr. T. Like, he was my idol, and so like Mr. T and Rocky inspired me, and that what got me boxing. So I was really disappointed to see that Mr. T is not in it, even though I predicted that. So, but apparently it's still a very good movie, and so I'll be watching that in the theaters, and we'll get back to giving our comments on that.